While the world debates whether Ukraine can win, Ukraine is already winning. In November alone, over 81,000 targets were destroyed, 10 refineries ablaze, strategic bombers hit 1,000 kilometers deep inside Russia. This isn't just defense anymore. This is systematically dismantling Russia's war machine, one precision strike at a time. This is the War Update. Today, we're breaking down how Ukraine executed the most devastating month of strikes against Russian infrastructure since this war began. Stick around, because what happened in November changes everything. Let's be honest about where we are right now.
Vladimir Putin. Mr. Putin, did you underestimate?
In Washington, there's skepticism. In European capitals, there's fatigue. The narrative you're hearing is that Ukraine should negotiate, that Russia's too big, that this war is unwinnable. But here's what those conversations miss. Every single strike Ukraine lands isn't just an explosion. It's economic warfare. Every refinery that burns means less fuel for Russian tanks. Every power station knocked offline means Russian factories can't produce ammunition. Every ruble Russia spends rebuilding is a ruble they can't spend on artillery shells. This is the math Putin doesn't want you to see. Ukraine isn't just defending territory. They're attacking the economic engine that funds Russia's ability to wage war at all. So when people ask, can Ukraine actually win? They're asking the wrong question. The right question is, can Russia afford to keep losing this much? And in November, Ukraine made that answer increasingly clear. November wasn't random chaos. This was systematic, strategic, and frankly, brilliant. Let me show you the pattern. Ukraine focused on 3 target categories. 1. Energy infrastructure. Thermal power plants, electrical substations, the backbone of Russia's industrial capacity. No power means no weapons production. 2. Oil refineries. From Volgograd to Krasnodar, refineries that process crude oil into military fuel. Ukraine hit at least 10 different facilities. That's not just disruption, that's systematic degradation. 3. Military assets. The Seki airfield in Crimea, the Engels II strategic bomber base near Saratov. Even a Shahed drone component factory in Tatarstan, over 1,000 kilometers from Ukrainian-held territory. Here's what makes this unprecedented: range. Ukraine is now regularly hitting targets deeper inside Russia than Moscow is from Ukraine's border. They're operating with a reach that was unthinkable 2 years ago. Then they're doing it with a combination of tools: domestically produced drones, naval drones, long-range rockets, and yes, finally, ATACMS missiles that the US authorized for strikes inside Russia. This isn't just tactical. This is Ukraine rewriting the rules of what a smaller military can achieve against a larger adversary when they have the right technology and the will to use it. Let me walk you through the greatest hits, literally, of November. And trust me, this gets wild. November 5th. Ukraine hit the Oriol thermal power plant for the second time in 5 days. Multiple explosions, fires visible from space. But they didn't stop there. That same night, they struck a substation in Vladimir, a refinery in Volgograd, oil facilities in Crimea, and a fuel pumping station in Yaroslavl. 5 different regions, one coordinated operation. The Yaroslavl airport had to suspend flights. At least 1 person killed, widespread power outages. This is what synchronized warfare looks like. November 14th. Now this one's fascinating. Novorossiysk is Russia's largest oil export terminal on the Black Sea. It's how Russia ships oil to global markets. Ukraine hit it with a combined assault, aerial drones, missiles, and naval drones. They damaged oil pumps, tankers, pipelines, and even S-300 and S-400 air defense systems. The result? Export operations halted, crews evacuated. This wasn't just a military strike. This was economic strangulation. Every day that terminal is offline costs Russia millions. November 18th. After months of deliberation, the US finally authorized Ukraine to use ATACMS missiles against targets inside Russia. Ukraine didn't waste time. They struck military facilities in Voronezh Oblast, likely a training range. Range up to 300 kilometers. This changed the calculus. Suddenly, Russian rear bases that felt safe are now within reach. November 19th. Ukraine hit a state power plant in Novomacherinsk. 7 explosions reported. They hit the Ryazan refinery. Fires erupted. And the Ilsky refinery in Krasnodar. Multiple detonations. 3 major targets. Over 500 kilometers from Ukrainian-held territory. The message was clear. Nowhere is safe. But the night of November 28th, that's when Ukraine really showed what they're capable of. Target 1, Seki Airfield, Crimea. 10 simultaneous strikes across Russia and occupied Crimea. Let me break this down because it's genuinely impressive. A drone base. Hit. Fire broke out. This is where Russia operates surveillance and strike drones. Target 2, Engels 2 Strategic Bomber Base. This is Saratov region, home to Russia's strategic bomber fleet. These are the aircraft that launch cruise missiles at Ukrainian cities. Ukraine hit them at home. Explosions confirmed. Target 3, Alabuga Factory, Tatarstan. Here's where it gets really interesting. This factory produces components for Shahed drones, those Iranian-designed kamikaze drones Russia uses constantly. Ukraine flew drones over 1,000 kilometers to set it ablaze. A 1,000 square meter fire. 300 people evacuated. For context, that's like launching drones from New York and hitting targets in Chicago, with precision, at night. And they hit 7 more electrical substations across Russia and occupied territories that same night. Russian military bloggers were panicking. Air defense was overwhelmed. You could see the psychological impact in real time on Russian social media. Confusion, fear, anger. November 29th. Ukraine wasn't done. The next night, they hit the Afipsky oil refinery in Krasnodar. 250 square meter fire. They struck Novorossiysk port again. Oil loading dock damaged. Risk of oil spill into the Black Sea. And they hit that Alabuga drone factory again, while it was still burning from the previous night. This is sustained, relentless pressure. This is operational tempo that military analysts didn't think Ukraine could maintain. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets even more remarkable. Ukraine's Army of Drones program, which crowdsources funding and production of drones, released their November statistics, and they're staggering. 81,504 targets destroyed, 26,170 personnel hits, record number of Russian Shahed drones intercepted by Ukrainian interceptor drones, record number of enemy Mavic drones shot down. This isn't just random strikes. This is industrialized warfare. Ukraine has created a system where operators in the field provide real-time feedback on drone performance. Manufacturers immediately implement improvements. New drones get deployed within weeks. The cycle repeats. It's like having a weapons development program on steroids, with a feedback loop that runs at the speed of actual combat. And it's working. Ukraine isn't just holding the line. They're innovating faster than Russia can adapt. The Security Service of Ukraine alone hit dozens of targets in November. Their list reads like a tour of Russia's energy infrastructure. Saratov Refinery, Volgograd Refinery, Ryazan Refinery, Novokoybishevsk Refinery, Tuapse Refinery. The list goes on. Each one of these is another blow to Russia's fuel production. Another logistical nightmare for their military. Another economic loss that Putin has to explain to his population. So what does all of this actually mean? Why should you or anyone watching care about refineries burning in Russia? Because wars aren't just won on the battlefield. They're won in factories, in supply chains, in fuel depots and power grids. Ukraine understands this. Every strike on Russian infrastructure has a multiplier effect. Less fuel production means fewer tanks at the front, more expensive civilian fuel, reduced industrial output, economic strain that Putin has to manage domestically. Here's the asymmetry that's crucial. Ukrainian drones cost thousands of dollars. Russian air defense missiles cost hundreds of thousands. Every time Russia shoots down a $20,000 drone with a $1 million missile, Ukraine wins that exchange. And when drones get through, the damage costs millions to repair. And here's why this isn't just about Ukraine and Russia. Every military in the world is watching this war. They're studying Ukraine's tactics. They're seeing what works. And what they're learning is that determined resistance, combined with asymmetric technology, can absolutely challenge a larger adversary. Taiwan is watching. South Korea is watching. Poland is watching. Every country that faces a larger, hostile neighbor is taking notes. And here's the uncomfortable truth for those in Western capitals who want to scale back support. Ukraine is demonstrating that aid to them is remarkably effective. The weapons work. The strategy works. The Ukrainians are willing to do the fighting, they just need the tools. Compare the cost of supporting Ukraine to the cost of deterring Russian expansion across Europe if Ukraine falls. It's not even close. Ukraine is the most cost-effective defense investment the West has made in decades. But beyond the strategic calculus, there's a moral dimension. A sovereign nation was invaded. Its people are fighting for their existence. And they're not asking anyone else to fight for them, just to give them the means to fight for themselves. And month by month, they're proving they can win. The world needs to pay attention because what Ukraine is doing right now, it's changing how wars will be fought in the 21st century. Thanks for watching the War Update. If you want to see more analysis like this, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this with anyone who needs to understand what's really happening in this war. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, this isn't over until it's over.